Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Teen Talk Central, where we have real conversations about the ups and downs of being a teenager. I'm Mia, your host, and today we're tackling a topic that many of us struggle with: the pressure of having it all figured out. Whether it's choosing a career path, getting perfect grades, or knowing exactly who we are, there's this unspoken expectation that we should have a plan for our futures right this moment. But let's be so for real, most of us do not have that, and that's completely okay. So let's think about it a little bit. How many times have we been asked as we're growing up, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do in college? Like, what's your future career path? And I think, at least for me, since I was little, people have been expecting us to give some, big answer, an astronaut, a doctor. But as we get older, that question starts to carry a lot more weight. And obviously, I feel like anyone who's going through, the college application process or, is a junior, going into their senior year, you kind of realize that this question is a lot more, it's a lot more heavy on you because you realize that, oh, shoot, I have to figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life when I'm, 17 or 18. Personally, I'm going to be going into college when I'm still 17 and turning 18 in college. So we're deciding what I want to do when I'm, 16 or 17. And it just feels like a lot of pressure to have your whole life kind of, mapped out and be perfect. And then the question is, if we don't have those answers, it can almost feel like we're behind because our college counselors may be well, you got to pick up the pace and figure out what you want to do. But it's we're only so young and we've only experienced so much in life. It's how do you expect us to figure out exactly what we want to do for the rest of our lives? And I also think social media makes it even harder because social media highlights a lot of the younger people our age, starting businesses and becoming influencers with thousands and thousands of followers and getting into their dream schools. So it's really easy to just compare ourselves and feel like we're not enough. But again, we also have to remember social media is not 100%. Obviously that is so amazing that they're starting their own businesses and stuff, but I'm sure there's a bunch of struggles that they're facing behind the scenes that they're not showing because social media is usually a highlight reel for most people and it's only a small glimpse into their daily lives. But I want to give everyone a little reality check. And the truth is that most people don't actually have it figured out, including adults. And we have to remember, and I feel like this quote is said so much, life isn't a straight path, and it's okay to take time to explore what you really enjoy. So, for example, you can maybe get an internship for something, maybe you want to be a veterinarian all your life, and then you take an internship and you realize, oh, shoot, maybe I don't want to work with animals. And then you move to gardening or something, and then you realize, oh, I did not like that, and then you realize you want to do something else, and that's okay. The pressure we feel is, a lot of it comes from our external expectations, but at the end of the day, this is our journey of life, and we get the opportunity to figure out what we want to do. It shouldn't be a tedious process that you have to do. And think about some of the most successful people. Most of them have changed their career passions many times before finding their one true thing. And we're all still in high school. So we're still growing and learning and figuring out who we are. So why the heck should we have our whole life plan figured out when we're just so young? So now I want to talk about some potential ways to deal with this pressure. So here's a few things to keep in mind as you're kind of going through this process. It is okay not to know at all. You do not have to have your perfect life plan at 16 or 18 or whenever you're going into college or something. Because, again, like I mentioned, you were so young. The expectation to know exactly what we want to do for the rest of our lives, it's so insane. And obviously, some people know exactly what they want to do. And I would maybe consider myself in that group. I know I want to do something along the lines of psychology and that stuff, but even that I'm not 100% certain on that, but I'm more than averagely kind of committed to my idea. But even that, it took me a while to figure out, and I bounced around between a lot of different things. And I'm not even saying that you have to have it figured out right now, because most of my friends don't have it figured out, and it's totally fine. I don't think that you have to have it figured out. But obviously it would be beneficial, but doesn't mean you have to do it now. No. And it is perfectly okay not to know. Also, explore your interests. Try different things, like I said, clubs, hobbies, internships, without the fear of failing, because you're just trying it. You're getting to know if you like it. And if you really do like it, then that is amazing. And if you don't, that's okay, because there will be something for you. And also, just stop comparing your journey to others. Like I said, social media is 100% a highlight reel. It's not reality. Even though they may have a passion, there may be a lot of struggles that they're going through behind the scenes. And another thing is to talk about it. If the pressures feel super overwhelming, open up to someone you trust. You guys can DM us on Instagram, or you can talk to a parent or a counselor or a college counselor, because especially with college counselors, they've definitely seen this around, because this is what they do for a living. They try to get kids into college, but they have to ask that stressful question of, okay, what school do you want to go to, and what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, obviously, talking to someone you trust who's potentially been through the experience would be very beneficial. And again, remember, your path is yours, and it's okay to move at your own pace. Some people know what they want to do when they're like 5, and others maybe when they're like 21 or 22, and that is 100% okay. Just remember that this is your life, and you get to decide what you want to do. And instead of thinking of, oh, I have to do this, going back to that negative mindset, positive mindset thing that we talked about a couple episodes ago, think about, oh, I'm able to explore my talents, and I'm able to explore potential opportunities for jobs that I might want to do, or for what I want to be when I grow up. So guys, remember, at the end of the day, life is about growth and exploration and learning from the experiences. You do not need to have it all figured out right now. What matters is that you stay open to new possibilities and give yourself grace along the way. So that is it for today's episode of Teen Talk Central. If this resonated with you at all and you want to just ask about really anything and share your thoughts, you guys can DM us on Instagram at Teen Talk Central. I'd love to hear how you're handling this pressure, and maybe if you guys want to give advice to other people. And if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to share and follow. I also, just as a closing thought, want to remind everybody that your life is your life. So just because your friend might be telling you that they're doing all of this stuff, it does not mean that you automatically have to do everything that they're doing just to kind of seem on the same level. No. You can do what you want to do, and if you find a hobby or something that you really like, turn that into a passion, and that passion could become your future job. So, just always continue to strive for your goals and strive for the passions that you want to focus on and you think will, if they interest you, then that's great, and you keep pursuing that. So, don't forget, I'm always here if you ever need to talk at Teen Talk Central, and see you next time for another real conversation.